I'm feeling great because, again, I know what I'm doing is right for the taxpayers. I encourage everyone to come to the city. My door is open. I'll welcome everyone. I bring kids through. I bring adults through. I bring dignitaries through my office. Sit there. I'm just an average guy, Joe. I'm an average guy.
So Mayor Rob Ford and his brother Doug, the city councilor, had their premiere episode of Ford Nation, their new TV show right here on the Sun News Network tonight. I thought it was interesting TV and more balanced and deeper than the paparazzi treatment given to him by the Toronto Star, the CBC, and increasingly even by foreign media. I had a small part in the show giving one of my trademark rants and then talking to Ford about the media bullying. But let me tell you what was the weirdest part of participating in their show. It was the contrast between two worlds. Let me tell you about the first one first. We taped the show yesterday late in the morning. When I showed up 3 hours early yesterday on Sunday morning, there were already a bunch of other media trucks parked out front of our studios and probably a dozen reporters. They sat there for hours just to catch a glimpse of Ford walking in and walking out. Seriously, they even tried to interview me just walking into the office. I wouldn't be surprised if they interviewed the building's janitors. It wouldn't have surprised me to see a TV helicopter overhead. It was like they were waiting for Miley Cyrus to arrive at MTV or something. I don't know. Except that most of Miley Cyrus's media are fawning. Oh, they pretend to be shocked when she twerks. That's what she calls her stripper dancing. Or when she sticks out her tongue or takes a puff of marijuana. But they love her, of course. I mean, she's pretty in a boyish way and can actually sing, and she makes for good TV and sells tabloid celebrity mags. So the press actually love her. At most, they play fight with her. It's a symbiosis. But it couldn't be more different with the media mania surrounding Rob Ford. They're just as obsessive as with Miley Cyrus, but it's not obsessive love or fawning. These aren't fanboys. They despise Rob Ford. And even if they don't care enough about him to despise him, that's reserved for the long-term ideological enemies he has at the Toronto Star and the CBC. They have the newcomers have a finely cultivated human disrespect for that. Here, just for a taste, here's some snobby Brit flown in from London, England to follow the hot story in Canada for a few days. He obviously doesn't give a damn about Canada or Toronto or the Fords, but he knows what he has to do to justify being jetted in from England. Just watch for 30 seconds what he was like.
Venturing into his territory, I wanted to ask the mayor about his fitness for office.
Mr. Ford, how are you?
Too bad. Who are you?
I'm Inigo Gilmore from Channel 4 News in London. Can I have a quick word?
Sorry.
Can I just ask you some questions? Are you going to go into rehab, Mr. Ford? Do you think you have a problem? Are you going to carry on with the job?
It looked like he wasn't going to come out. But then suddenly, there he was at the front door.
Okay, can I ask you a couple of questions, please?
How many times have you rang my doorbell?
Okay, I'm sorry, sir, but I would like to ask you...
How many times have you rang my doorbell?
But can I ask you a question?
I've said I have no comment. Please leave my property, and you're not leaving.
But sir, I just need to know, are you going to go into rehab?
I don't have any comment. Please leave my property.
Can you imagine if some foreign creep just sat there at your front door ringing your doorbell 5 times, refusing to leave when you asked him to? That clip actually went on longer than I showed you there. Now, that same reporter tried his luck at our Remembrance Day ceremonies. You couldn't find a more somber, decorous occasion than Remembrance Day, more important in a way than even if the Queen herself was visiting Toronto. I mean, we owe the Queen our respect. She's our head of state, but we owe our dead soldiers our very freedoms, maybe even our lives for their ultimate sacrifice. But this British reporter, he really doesn't give a damn other than to get the story. And so he knows that he has to be ruder than any other reporter. He actually disrupted the Remembrance Day event. We just showed it to you on the screen behind me, pushing and shoving the mayor at the memorial service itself. That's just one reporter from Britain. Yesterday, outside the Sun, there were some paparazzi from Paris shouting at the mayor, asking if the mayor was interested in speaking to France. I mean, if anyone could be pushier or snobbier or ruder than a British reporter, I guess it would be someone from Paris. This is what the mayor faces all the time. And like I say, these foreign jackals aren't actually motivated by hatred. They'll be in some other country on some other story next week. The true haters have a permanent stalkerazzi beat at the Toronto Star, like when Daniel Dale went to the mayor's home at dusk to peer over the mayor's backyard and take voyeuristic photos into the mayor's property at night. You've got this insane media bullying. That's what it is, bullying Ford. Publishing pictures of his young kids. Publishing any personal rumor about Ford's wife now. It has no bottom. There is literally nothing they will not do. And it's not just reporters, it's the police chief Bill Blair, the gossipy voyeur who hired a plane to watch Rob Ford pee on a tree in public, who released hundreds of pages of personal tidbits about the mayor, even though the mayor is not under investigation, let alone being charged with anything. This gossipy police chief, media hound, left-wing police chief, who basically dumped 400 pages of salacious rumors untested by a court, no legal reason, basically just dumping his personal J. Edgar Hoover-style dirty file on his political rival, the mayor, with the disclaimer, oh, just saying, I'm just saying. Here's every piece of dirt we ever dug up on the mayor, just saying. Oh, yeah, I saw a crack tape about him, just saying. Oh, no charges, no, not investigating him officially, spent millions hunting him, but he's not being charged. I'm just saying. Seriously, just how big is Chief Blair's budget for political spying? Which other politicians is he tracking? We'll talk more in the show today about this egregious, unprofessional conduct by the police chief. But my point now is that the media party, who despised this police chief because of their bullying during the G20 riots, their violations of civil liberties then, well, now the media are cheering the same police chief now. Anything to get their main enemy, Rob Ford. So that is part one of this strange world. The media party despises Rob Ford. But part two happened when we were taping Ford Nation yesterday. We sent producers out to the streets of Toronto, not just downtown, where the fancy people live and work with important jobs, but in the suburbs too, where ordinary people live and work with ordinary jobs. So not the usual CBC streeters done right outside the CBC studio downtown. And what surprised me, genuinely surprised me, was that normal people didn't have an ounce of hate for the mayor. Some were genuinely concerned for his health. Some were upset by the media distraction, including from real issues, but there wasn't a hate or even an anger. None of the voters felt abused or victimized. They sympathized with the mayor, and Rob Ford was grateful for their concern. Look.
It's humbling. I want to thank my supporters for sticking with me. I guarantee you're going to see a change in the next few months. And talk is cheap, action speaks louder than words. I love the city, I love being mayor, and I love saving taxpayers' money, and I'm going to continue doing that.
Now, when I saw those streeters, my thought was, uh-oh, people are going to think we cherry-picked those men on the street segments to make Ford look good. That's what I thought, though I knew they were real people chosen at random. But then, after he taped his show on The Sun, Ford went to the CFL football game. I mean, talk about putting yourself out there. Thousands of people, severely normal people. That is political suicide for a politician in trouble. I mean, imagine if he got put on the Jumbotron and people started to boo him. Well, that is not what happened. They didn't boo him. They mobbed him for autographs, for cell phone pictures with him, just to shake his hand or hug him, even kiss him. It was nuts. The mirror opposite of the media party haters. Here's a short video clip some guy took from when Ford tried to get to his car outside. Look. How can this be? Which of these two worlds is real? Does the world really hate Ford? Or do they love Ford? How can both of these worlds be true? Is the media being the media reporting the facts as they are? Or is the media being an actor, a campaigner trying to change the facts? Is the media really reflecting reality to us? Or are they trying to dictate an alternate reality to us? How is it possible for reporters to so despise Rob Ford? And for ordinary people to love him so much? How? Well, actually, these aren't disconnected things. They are very connected. One is a response to the other. Here's what a hyper Ford hater, Jonathan Goldsby of Now magazine, wrote when he saw that CFL video of the Rob Ford chance I showed you a minute ago. Here's what he wrote. He says, the love for Ford is, quote, actually kind of scary. Well, of course it is, because either they're crazy or he's crazy. Either the media's obsession with getting Fords is nuts, or thousands or millions of Torontonians are nuts. I'd be scared to be on the wrong side of that divide too, Jonathan. But look at the sneer there. People who cheer for a political opponent are scary. Not just scary, but worthy of demonization and abuse. Look at this other Goldsby tweet about Ford's new health regimen. He said, haha, the mayor's new weight loss plan includes eating at a Chinese restaurant. Hilarious. He's so fat. Did I mention how fat he is? Look, my friends, this war is not actually about Rob Ford, a flawed man and a sinner just like you and me. It's about a mania that has gripped the fancy people of Toronto, who have decided amongst themselves that they have had enough of being embarrassed by a grubby, low-class, suburban, fat guy. They want their fancy pants mayor back, that David Miller or George Smitherman. They'll put up with high taxes, garbage strikes, traffic jams, whatever, just as long as they won't have to be embarrassed on Saturday Night Live or The Daily Show anymore. Hey, even their friends in London and Paris agree. There's just one problem with all that. It's a little problem called democracy. Good God, here at The Sun, we stand with democracy, and the media party can go to hell.